So over the past year, I've been able to make over 130 grand. And now as a 21-year-old, I've been able to move into my dream apartment and actually start and build my own online income up to the point where I make over 20K every single month. And literally not even 2 years ago, or just about 2 years ago, I was a degree apprentice at the age of 19, working in London, making about 2 to 3K a month. Okay. And the reason why I give you that context is first things first, to actually kind of show you why I'm someone who you should actually listen to, and why I feel like I may have some pieces of information here on my notebook that I've written down. So this is going to be a very raw video. Why I feel like I've got some information that if you take into account, this isn't going to be a high dopamine video, but why I think if you take this information into account, you will be able to maximize your 20s. But then also how possible it actually is to be able to change your life. Okay. Because someone like me, like I am not special. Me being able to get to this point, I wasn't born lucky. I wasn't born smart. If anything, I was probably one of the slower kids in school. Okay, I literally failed my maths GCSEs. However, I've been able to understand a set rule of principles that anyone here can understand. This doesn't have to cost you thousands of pounds in mentoring and coaching like it did for me. And I truthfully believe that if you take all of these information, all of these pieces of information into your life, you will forever you will be able to maximize your 20s and actually become someone who becomes successful and makes the same amount of money or even way more money than me. Okay. So, point number one, I'm just going to get straight into it, is practice delayed gratification. Okay. The art of delayed gratification is essentially being able to do something and not have to like receive a result straight away. So, for instance, go into the gym for 6 months. Okay. Going to the gym for 6 months, the first couple of weeks, the first month, you're not going to see crazy results. Okay. You're not going to build a six pack and build your dream body over a month. Okay. But after 6 months, the delayed gratification for the inputs that you're putting in every single day, that starts to show. And the same thing applies to you in life and when you're achieving and when you're chasing financial goals or business success. Okay. You need to be able on a day-to-day basis, and this is something that I still practice, something that people at the highest level practice. You need to be able to put in work and not have to not you need to be able to put in work and not see results straight away, but continue to keep on going, because that is what gets you to where you want to get to over time. There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. There's no such thing that you're going to be able to start that you are just going to automatically become richer with it, unless you win the lottery, or unless you trade a crazy crypto meme coin, which we all know about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no one way that input becomes output in a span of a day or a span of a week. Okay, like greatness and being able to build an income takes time. It took me 4 to 6 months to. It took me 2 to 3 months to make my first ever bit of money online in sales, and then it took me about 6 to 7 months to make my first ever 10K in a month. Okay, that was delayed gratification. Okay, imagine if I'd have just quit after the first month of me doing what I do, which is high ticket sales. Imagine if me just quitting after a month. I wouldn't be here. The amount of people I've been able to help hit their goals wouldn't be here, and my whole life would have looked so different. But I was able to practice delayed gratification, and the same doesn't just apply to what you're doing in making money. It applies to every aspect in your life. Okay, always pick the option with the most resistance, the option that it isn't the most exciting, it isn't the most fun, it doesn't give you the biggest, boost of dopamine, but the option that you know, because internally you will know. Always take the option that you know over time will help your life and will improve your life exponentially. Okay, so that's point number one. Point number two on ways to maximize your 20s is focus on your health and become a fucking weapon. Okay? I say this all the time, but in life, especially as men, life is about balance. Okay? There's no point in having money if you're unfit. There's no point in being fit and having muscles if you don't have money. There's no point in having money, and there's no point in having muscles if you're lonely and you don't have relationships and you don't have people to spend your hard work with. Okay, life is all about balance, and what I see a lot of people do, which is why a big thing that I train my own students on, is how can we make sure that we're turning you into the best man possible so that you deserve your results. Okay, because the thing about life is life gives you what you deserve, and life gives you what you think you deserve. So if you're someone who's so focused on making money and you let your health slip, your brain is not going to identify you as someone who deserves success, because it can see you slacking on all of these other aspects. And that's why your core focus as a man should also be to get in shape, because getting in shape not only helps you make more money because you're respected more, you can operate smoother, you don't have less brain fog, you're healthier, you're more confident, and people perceive you in a better light. But it also allows you to spend the money that you're making more. And I genuinely think that there is no higher ROI thing for a young man to do in his 20s than get in shape. Okay, it's going to help you attract the woman that you like. It's going to help you attract men that respect you and men of, I guess, a higher status who, want to hang around you, because 9 times out of 10, most successful men who have, are in shape aren't going to really want to hang around someone who is out of shape and sloppy either. So the whole purpose and the whole premise of point number 2 is actually become a weapon, not just in making money, but also in your health, also in your knowledge, also in all of these aspects, and try and become as well versed of a man as possible and really chase mastery. Point number 3 is travel the world and discover yourself. Okay, travel the world to discover yourself and see the world for yourself. Okay, I've just moved out of my house for the first time. As you can see behind me, I now live in Manchester. Okay, I've left my hometown, comfort, safe. Okay, living with my parents, paying rent whatsoever. I've left that, and I've been able to now, even the past a week, I've only been here for a week, my perspectives and how I'm operating, I have to operate at a higher standard now, and I have to be someone who is so much more dialed and so much more locked in, because I've got rent to pay. Okay, if I don't pay my rent, if I don't make money, guess what? I'm not going to be able to afford my house. Do you know what I mean? And I've been able to put myself in a situation where I can experience these things, and these are all character building, and this is all personal development that is going to turn me into the type of man that I need to become. Even before that, even you can see in my videos of going to Thailand and going to Bali, traveling and seeing different cultures, seeing what's out there, and seeing what is actually possible, because a lot of people limit themselves to their hometown and limit themselves to their small mindset around the same people that are keeping them stuck, which is why they might try and do these big things, but they'll always fall back into the same habits. Actually being able to even leave the country and, go into richer places like Marbella, or places like, I don't know, France, south of France, where there's so many rich people and there's so many supercars everywhere, and you're getting excited, you're getting inspired, and you can see the amount of money that can be made. Stuff like that is what is going to help you win your 20s, because once you see what's possible, once you open yourself to these different mindsets and these different people, and you're able to build connections with them, guess what? Your life improves as a byproduct of that. Okay, so travel the world for yourself and see what's possible. Number 4, do not be a victim. Okay, there's 2 types of people that you can be in life. You can either be a victim or you can either be a conqueror. A victim is the type of person that blames everything that blames everyone else for why their life isn't. Okay, if they can't make money, they say, "Oh, I can't do this because of this," or "This person did this to me, which is why I can't do this, and this, and this." Everything is everyone else's fault, not theirs. Okay, so I want you to identify yourself right now, like, so far in your life, have you been a victim or have you been a conqueror? Okay, because a conqueror understands that what they place the power on is what has power over them. So why would you want to give and put the blame on something else that you can't control, and put that as the reason as to why you don't have the life that you want, rather than you take control and you say, "You know what? I'm the person, no matter what happens to me, I'm the person who can take control of my situation. I'm the only person who can make my life better." Because it's a hard thing to do, but you will also realize it's such a freeing thing to do, because when you wake up every single morning and you know that it's all on you, you're not dependent on these other people that may have wronged you or these other circumstances, that you understand that, listen, no matter where it is, it's my duty, because no one is coming to save me and I need to be a conqueror. Your life will change and you will win your 20s. Okay, so many people spend their 20s being a victim and blaming other people for this, blaming other people, blaming their upbringing, blaming their parents, which they may play a part, but at the end of the day, on your deathbed, you're either going to have them people to blame or you're going to have yourself to blame. Okay, once you reach the end of your life, when you're old, you're 60 or 70, you're going to realize that no matter what happened to you, you still had the control and you still had the power to change your life, because there have been people that have done way more with way harder and way less circumstances. So be grateful and be a conqueror, and take every single thing that comes to your life and see it as your responsibility. And the final number point is learn a high income skill. This aligns a lot with what I talk about in my content, because the majority of boys that watch this channel are going to want to be able to make money. Okay, you're going to want to actually be able to build an income and actually start to be able to, provide for your family and provide for your loved ones. Okay, and the best way to do that in 2026, it doesn't matter what high income skill you pick. Okay, I am always an advocate for sales, because that is what changed my life. But you can pick trading, you can pick dropshipping, you can pick e-commerce. It doesn't really matter. Pick one thing, because I'm a big believer in everything works. If there are people, this goes back into the point that I walked you through before, being a conqueror and understanding that everything's in your control. If there are people that have done what you want to do before, that means you can do it. because there's nothing special that they did. There was just something different that they did, which you need to figure out a way to go and learn from people that have done it, and go and have proximity and be close to them. That is how you actually learn a high income skill, and that is how you actually make money in 2026, and how you actually change your life, especially as a young man. Okay, because what your focus as a young man should be is how much skills and how much exposure can I give myself to learning the right skills, so that, say if your income was to drop, say if the government wants to come and take everything from you, the number one thing that they can't take is your skills, what you can do. If the government is to come and nuke me right now, nuke all of my money, take all of my savings, take whatever from me, I know for a fact I'm going to be able to build it back, not because of what I have, but because of how I built it, and that has all come down to my skills. Okay, your whole focus, especially as a young man, should be how can I make myself so bulletproof, which comes down to your skills, getting really good at something and chasing mastery over it, so that no matter what happens, you'll always be able to make money, and you will always be able to change your life. Okay, I genuinely believe, okay, that is kind of my philosophy, especially for young men. If you do all of these things, you will maximize your 20s, and you will build your dream life.